don't be confused about, there's a kidnapping count, which is not like most lay people think kidnapping is, where you grab somebody and hold them for ransom or something like that. But she took this kid and put him someplace against his will, somewhere he shouldn't have been, basically is what it says. And we can get, if you need the exact statutory wording, it fits in this case, okay? You know, I've been catching a lot of flack saying there are people out there that should not be parents, ever. And if this doesn't speak volumes to that, I don't know what does. This is, you know, it's hard not to think of like a Marcus Faisal kind of case and stuff, you know, the tragedy we've seen here locally. But it's incredible the inhumanity people will do to their own children. It's just mind-numbing.
This is the first person I think I'm seeing about another adult that was in the car with Atkins. Any charges against that person, or who?
Well, first of all, the person in the car was not the father of this child, so he did not have a duty of care to the child, if that makes sense to you. It would be like if you go to Kroger this afternoon and some woman's in the aisle and she's beating the hell out of her 5-year-old. Now, should you do something about it? Yeah. But is it against the law to ignore it? No, I mean, you can ignore it if you want.
So you know who that
the duty of care,
that's
yeah.
The duty of care issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
The duty of care is with the mom.
Is there depraved indifference or anything like that? Or
What's that?
depraved indifference or anything?
No, there's nothing like that. You have to have a duty of care in these child cases. And I can't even look at that kid. That breaks my heart. There's the nose problem. It looks like he had a black eye. Those are old injuries. Those are not recent.
Can you talk about how serious these charges are or are not? Because this story grabs so many people. It's so heartbreaking to hear about this. And just child endangerment, I don't know. How serious is that on a scale when you're talking about child
I mean, it's as bad as it gets. I mean, I think Marcus Faisal was probably worse. They wrapped him up in a blanket and left him in a closet for 2 days. But anytime you deal with these kids' cases, it just breaks your heart, especially if you have kids this age or raise kids that age. And you know, can you imagine the only person he knows is his mom to take care of him. And she dumps him out on the street during the pouring rain, and he can't tell people what happened. I mean, that is,
Joe, why do you
it's
think-
disgusting.
Why do you think this child and not the other two? What set this child apart? You know?
He's the one that was nonverbal. Now, I don't know if the nonverbal is because he's autistic. I don't know if it's because of abuse issues. We just don't know the answer yet.
Well, why would she target him to abandon him?
Well, the other two kids didn't have the problems he had. It's like when Marcus Faisal was tied up and thrown in, he was a special needs kid. They were getting extra money to take care of this kid. But this was a biological child of hers. So
The child did more or less just his condition. I can't deal with this anymore. It's too much on my time. Or I mean, is there any?
I mean, if you had children, there are times when they can be trying. Let's just say that. And you're a parent. You suck it up and you take care of your kids. I mean, I have great problems understanding how people don't care for their children and the motivation behind it.
Do you expect any additional charges here? I mean, we've heard about drug use or if there is past abuse of it.
I can assure you, if we can put more charges on these two people that you just heard about, we will. They are charged with the most serious thing we can charge them with right now. But if we learn other things, we'll charge them more. I think they should go to jail for a long time.
Are investigations actively happening? Into
They never stop. I mean, especially on this case. But again, if you remember on your stations and elsewhere, I mean, this kid's picture was everywhere. Corrine Township did a really good job on it.
you have any idea of what's gonna happen with those kids?
No, not yet. I know that I caught a lot of flack the other day saying we need orphanages back. But, you know, the Jobs and Family Services gets reimbursed federally, money-wise, by reconnecting these kids into the family. They're pushed back into these households, and that's how they get paid. And I think it's a huge mistake. It's a huge flaw in the system that they want to reconnect these kids back to an abusive. Now they'll say, well, we've checked it out. But how many times have I stood up here and this is the same story? These kids have a history of abuse. They put them back in with the family. The kid either dies or is severely injured. It happens all the time.
But you're not saying that's what happened here. You're not saying this child was taken.
This kid, as far as I know, this kid had nothing to do with family services.
And can you just explain a little bit more on the kidnapping charge? Because I think people are gonna hear it and think, how can you kidnap your own child if it's not a custody issue or something like that?
Well, we'll give you the language, and you can see it's to remove somebody from their place, and that's what happened here. The kid was in the car. She took the kid, threw him out, took off. That's enough.
Joe, if she had just dropped this kid off at a fire station or a police station, could she have been prosecuted for anything?
Probably not. I mean, if she said, I can't take care of this kid, I don't know what to do, there's probably 10 programs that would step in and help. And this is a very caring community, and that's one of the things that is hard to understand why somebody wouldn't do exactly what you're talking about instead of just laying them out during a storm in the middle of Corrigan Township. Okay? Do you want the language on kidnapping?
Yeah,
Amy
that
can
would
get
be-
it for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.